I'm Corbett Wall with DB Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, November the 6th, brought to you in part by Zactran. BRD steals pounds, Zactran pounds back. Manage the risk of respiratory disease in your herd with Zactran. Remember to observe your 35-day withdrawal period after treatment. For more information, go to Zactran.com. The Northern Feedlot discount closed up late in the week here, and that makes everybody kind of feel a little bit better. But you know, they were lagging way back, $3, $4, while the Southern Plains was selling at $1.07 because the Southern Plains is a little bit tighter on market-ready supplies than the North is, and the North, pretty much Nebraska is what we're talking about. But you know, and last week they tried to pull that discount deal on Nebraska. Nebraska just wouldn't trade any cattle, and so they ended up not trading hardly any cattle in Nebraska at all, which left us with that very, very light negotiated cash trade a week ago, and we've talked a couple of times since then about how ridiculously small that was. But and not that we're going to have a huge movement this week. Although it's going to be a little bit closer to normal, I'd still say it's going to be well short of 100,000 unless they come back in on Friday here and start buying several more cattle in the Southern Plains. The guys in the Southern Plains, they thought, you know, maybe 107 is not quite enough because you guys were giving 107 about $2 or $3 ago on the board, and still wanting to give 107 with your spot December sitting at 108.35. The guys are not really crazy about the basis there, so they were wanting a little more cattle, and we haven't really sold a lot of cattle. We've had enough to establish a market at 107 in the Southern Plains, but haven't really sold a lot of cattle down there. And it could just be kind of light, or I don't know, they could come back in here and buy some cattle on Friday, but I don't know how many more in the Southern Plains they'd be able to get bought at 107. Box beef cutout values, the wholesale prices that your packers get are been coming up pretty good this week, and so they're starting to get a little bit bigger margin, and they're going to get a little more aggressive on the slaughter. They've been quite a bit more aggressive this week on the slaughter, so we assume that they will continue to do that, being that they're in the business to make money. Going to give you guys lots of quotes on all classes of cattle, but I wanted to mention real quick, maybe some of you guys are interested in this cattle marketing deal. Maybe you're a sale barn junkie like I am, and you're looking for a career change. November the 18th, Shaban Real Estate, and that's Jim and John Shaban that have Dunlap Livestock Auction, and they also have West Point, Nebraska. Long time folks in the auction business, and especially the sale barn livestock marketing business. They are going to be offering up Knoxville Regional Livestock Market, and that's a big time sale barn. I was there one time. It hasn't been that many years ago that they hosted the World Champion Livestock Auctioneer Contest, and that's the only time I was ever at Knoxville, Iowa, at the sale barn there. But that sale barn is going to be up for sale. It's got quite an acreage there, and it's a nice modern facility that'll hold about 4,000 head of cattle. And if somebody would be interested in that, they're going to be selling the whole deal at auction there. Shabans are going to be having that at auction, and you could get in the sale barn business pretty darn quick right there if you wanted to. I think they're selling everything that goes, and then they're selling some of the equipment separate if you wanted to purchase some of the equipment that you're going to need to run the sale barn. But you talk about a turnkey type deal. Like I said, you could go from 0 to 100 pretty fast if you wanted to get in the sale barn business in a pretty good part of the country, where there's a lot of farmer feeders in that country, and there are stocker operators there. A lot of corn in that country, and like I said, it's only about less than an hour just southeast of Des Moines, so pretty good part of the country. But if you're interested in all in that, check out Shaban Real Estate's website, and like I said, that's going to be on November the 18th, and you might want to look into that. Be less than 2 weeks away, but got plenty of time to talk to your banker and your wife if you're interested in doing something like that. Let's talk about the board for Thursday. December live cattle futures up 47 cents at 108.35. February up 67 at 111.45. You go on out from there on your live cattle futures, they were unchanged to up 62. And we've had a couple of really good weeks here on our futures market, and we're just glad to see some support shown by them and right through the election and everything else. But it's been pretty encouraging. November feeder cattle down 12 cents at 137.57. January up a quarter, 135.40. Gone out from there, and they were down 45 cents to up 55, and most of the up was on the farthest out months. But your grains have sparked up again a little bit, which has pressured your feeder cattle some, not a lot, but some. But corn back well over $4 a bushel again. December corn ended Thursday at 409 and a quarter. Beans took a big jump on Thursday, up 22 3/4 cents, and they are now back over $11 a bushel. So pretty good spark there, and just a lot of things going on with uncertainty about the election and trade and different things like that. It's kind of unusual to see your grains this volatile while we're still trying to finish up harvest, but they have been pretty volatile ever since we started harvest. But we are for sure on the backside of that. For the most part, guys are getting those combines kind of power washed off and back into the barn, and they go back on break for a while again. Let's talk about your fat cattle market. Confirmed sales on Thursday in Iowa, 9,600 head, kind of a wide price range on a live basis from 102.5 all the way up to 107, but a lot of 105 and 6 in Iowa on the few dress sales that they had, or a few live sales that they had. Dress sales 165 to 167. Nebraska, like I said, they sold several cattle. Confirmed sales on Thursday in Nebraska, 19,000. They've now sold 31,000 for the week there. So getting up there towards normal for them. 104 to mostly 107, and 107's the price, and they were selling them right along that way on a live basis. That's $2 to $4 higher. Dress sales in Nebraska, 163 to largely 167. That's $4 to as much as $9 higher than last week, guys, in Nebraska on confirmed dress sales. So we're glad to get that market position back. Kansas and Texas did not sell a lot of cattle. They had established their market earlier in the week, but Kansas so far has moved 17,200 head. Texas 6,400, and all at 107. And like I said, they've kind of backed off selling any more cattle at the 107. You know, they were getting that earlier in the week before all the big gains in the board and the market coming up north. So that's just a buck higher, and you're seeing how much of gain they saw in the northern plains. And the guys in the southern plains would like to have a little more money before they sell a whole lot more cattle. Box beef cutout values, like I said earlier, they were quite a bit higher on Thursday afternoon. Choice cuts up $236 at $212.55, and select up $1.92 at $198.97. Your slaughter, like I said, pretty good, pretty aggressive stroke there. 479,000 through Thursday there. That's 19,000 more than a week ago and 3,000 more in the same week a year ago. Actual slaughter information come in, it's always 2 weeks late, but come in for the week ending October the 24th, and had your average dressed steer carcass weight at an all-time new record, 931 pounds on the average of your steer carcass weights, guys. That was 2 pounds bigger than the previous report, and like I said, an all-time high. Wow, those should start coming down here in the next couple of weeks, we would sure assume, because it always in November they'll start slacking off, and we're short on market ready cattle, guys. The packers are pushing on them right now, so we'll see those weights drop off here pretty quick. Look at your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV auction. late in the day on Thursday, sitting at 135.34, down just 12 cents from the end of Wednesday's trading there. So not a lot of movement there, not a lot of yearlings to sell, guys, and that's why that price is lacking just a little bit, but without any sure no green yearlings, because there hadn't been anything green for quite a while now. But even on background and yearlings, not a whole lot of those moving. It's mostly just big giant calves. But when you do see yearlings, they sell really well. But there's so many of those calves that are getting up into that 7 to 899 pound weight range that it's pulling the price down on it quite a bit. Look at some of your bigger sales on Thursday. Farmers and Ranchers Livestock, Salina, Kansas, 2,100 head. And like I said, in your southern plains, the runs have just been really light. And you think, well, Salina, I consider that southern plains because it is on the south side of I-70. So if you threw a rock on the north side, I would consider that northern plains. But to me, in theory, that's where the line breaks right there is I-70. But Farmers and Ranchers trend, your Kansas trends were kind of hard to read there. Uneven and really wild within the weights. But from what I could gather mostly from your market news report there, it said uneven, but mostly $3 to $4 higher. But look at this yearling quote that I saw out of Salina. 56 head, 908 pound yearling steers there bring 141.35. How about Winter Livestock Pratt, Kansas? 1,900 head there. You would think in the full brunt of fall they'd have more cattle than that. But another illegible trend there, and I tell you what, if you were trying to read that on a radio broadcast or something, I mean, it's just unbelievable how many they have. They called a different trend on every single weight group with exceptions within, and that's really weird. But for the most part, Pratt sold their cattle uneven, but mostly $3 to $6 higher, and there's a higher market. Of course, they were gaining ground at the tail end of last week. But Ogallala Livestock Auction, 4,900 head. Market was $7 to $13 higher. Really good sale there. Lots of quotes on calves that were very impressive. I picked this one out because they had the biggest head count. But look at 272 head, fancy 531 pound steer calves, bring 176.50. How about Belfouche Livestock Market? We've been picking them up the last several weeks, and I'm just impressed by them. The more and more I look at their market there, but 7,500 head on Thursday there, and their automated market report from Cattle Market Central here is the only one you'll see because they're not reported by Federal State Market News. But steer calves $6 to $7 higher, heifer calves $7 to $10 higher in your best tested weights. Let's look at some of those quotes. On your steers, 1,625 head of full-weight steer calves average 455 at 179.60 on the average, guys, and that was about $6 higher. Over 2,150 head of the 5-weight steer calves average 544 pounds at 161.74 on your weighted average price on all the 5-weight steer calves, and that was up about $7.35. Look at some of your heifer popular weights. 1,175 head of the full-weight heifers average 453 at 154.78 on the average. That was nearly $7.50 higher. And then over 1,000 head of 5-weight heifer calves average 542 at 148.76 on the average of all the 5-weight heifers. That's dollars and dollars higher than most places will sell your 5-weight steers on the average. But that 148.76 average on the 5-weight heifers was over $9.50 higher than just last week, and they had a good run last week. Look at some other top quotes from around the circuit, and these are kind of off the beaten path prices for big feeder steers. But look how impressive they are, and they're not in the main drag, not around your 5-area feeding region, but kind of on the outskirts, both of them. But both of them very impressive. How about Bluegrass Stockyards, Stanford, Kentucky, 63 head, 871 pound feeder steers, bring 135.90. That's pretty darn good. That's higher than the index on a flat 800 pounder. And then your Zactran top quote for the day was Billings Livestock Commission, Billings, Montana, 66 head, 856-pound feeder steers in Billings bring 143 1/4. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.